Hi there. So the concept that I chose was a cell. So what is a cell? Well, biologyonline.org describes a cell as an autonomous, self-replicating unit that may exist as a functional unit of life, like a unicellular organism, or as a subunit in a multicellular organism that is specialized in carrying out particular functions towards the cause of the organism as a whole. So the next thing I was asked is, how might a teacher develop an understanding of a student prior knowledge? Well, the first thing a teacher can do is looking back at the previous program of studies that the students have done in previous grade levels. This can be fairly accurate, but sometimes it's not always, because the student might have not been taught a concept, they might have not retained the information, or they might forget. So something else a teacher can do is to have a concept mapped activity or a pre-concept test. These allow teachers to see the level that their students are at, how deep their understanding is, and any misconceptions that the students might have about certain topics. So going back to my topic, it is cells. So I found a study online called "What Do Cells Really Look Like? Child's Resistance to Accepting 3D Models." So this study was about going into grade 7 classrooms and finding out that a huge misconception students have about cells is that they think they're 2D, where actually in real life they are in 3D. This is due to textbooks being in 2D, as well as microscope slides. They're cross sections, so they're flat and they look 2D, but in reality they are 3D. So as a teacher, how can I teach to help rid of these misconceptions? I would use activities to help students visualize the cell as 3D using the PEOE approach. This is important to do because we can't really teach our students new things if the prior knowledge is incorrect or they have a misconception about a certain concept. So the first thing I would do is get the students to predict. So I would get them to draw out what they think a cell looks like without giving a lesson first, just kind of see where they're at, and then I would get them to explain. So I get them to write down why they think that the cell looks the way it does. By getting them to predict and then explain without me telling them a correct answer, it doesn't change their way of thinking, and then it also gives me as a teacher a deep understanding of what level they're at and any misconceptions that they have and why they do have those misconceptions. After I had students draw out a cell on the individual level and then explain, I would put them into small groups and then have them share their drawings with each other and hopefully learn something new, and then come up as a group and present what they think the cell model does actually look like. This also helps me as a teacher to see any misconceptions that my students may have. After doing my O, or the observation of PEOE, I would then explain the actual 3D model of a cell. So how I would do this is I would tell them what it is actually 3D. Another great idea I did receive from the study is to let students pass around a model that I made. It gives them a visual representation as well as they can hold it in their hands, so it's more kinesthetic for them as well. It will help ingrain in their minds that a cell is actually 3D, as well as it will make the idea a little less abstract and a little more concrete in their minds. So after I did the explanation of the 3D model and pass around my model, I would give the students an option to have modeling clay, or if they wanted to draw it again, they could draw it as well, and to make their representation of their cell after I have done instruction, and then this way I can kind of see if the students are retaining information, if they're learning anything, if my students still have misconceptions, or if they need help. So this is the idea that I got from the study. So what it is, it's a Ziploc bag and then some balls to represent the nucleus, which is the big orange one, and then the organelles. And then the bag also acts as almost a cell membrane of the cell. And a really cool idea that I got from my biology 30 teacher is to actually get students to make their own 3D model. It kind of helps them give a deeper understanding of the cell, the parts in the cell, as well as to visually represent that it is 3D. And I thought that was a really fun thing that I did, and hopefully my students will like it as well.